Alright, well, time for another. Well, I guess it's time for another debate. Well, not even. Well, probably the first debate on this channel generally. It's Tapu Bulu versus Rillaboom. Now, generally, now the thing is, I really love Tapu Bulu as a Pokemon. Like, it looks awesome, but of course, as they say, looks can be deceiving. So, when it comes to both of these guys, I don't really like design wise. Obviously, Tapu Bulu looks better. Rillaboom just looks like the average gorilla, which is not bad. I mean, to say the least, but like very average. You could have done better with it, but yeah, whatever. It's not lazy. Definitely isn't the laziest one out of all of them, though. When it comes to Tapu Bulu, however, I think what really grinds my gears is that he doesn't get very great abilities. Like, the two abilities he gets is Grassy Surge and Telepathy. Grassy Surge is probably his best ability, obviously, because it really can heal anybody it pleases. And Telepathy, let's see what it does real quick. Pokemon with the telepathy ability will not take damage from teammates in double or triple battles. Now, I don't know anybody who would use Tapu Bulu with the telepathy ability, but that is very good. I mean, it's good, but not great. I mean, sure, it can dodge Earthquake and Surf, but like, yeah, not really great in my opinion. I feel like it really just takes away of what we were really looking for. And the Grassy Surge basically just puts up grassy terrain, which will pretty much just not only heal Pokemon, but it also nerfs ground type moves like Earthquake for a little bit. I think it cuts them in half. I think it cuts those moves in half. And then and it pretty much can affect any Pokemon that's not levitating or flying, of course. Rillaboom gets the same exact treatment, however, it is different. Another difference is in their typings. Rillaboom here is a grass type, meanwhile Tapu Bulu here is a grass and fairy type. Obviously, the worst typing in the game. Like, I can't even lie. Like, it's really a bad typing. I mean, look, okay, it's not the worst typing, unlike grass and ice. That typing is really bad. But, like, not a great typing in my opinion. You don't really got a lot to work for that. And if you take a look at their stat spread, I mean, it's obvious that... if you take a look at their stat spread, it's obvious that one of them is quite literally better than the other. Because, like, you got Tapu Bulu over here who has... Like, you can see, Tapu Bulu has big physical attack. Not very bulky on the HP, but you could probably... Not very bulky in terms of HP, but it can do a little something. It's also not fast. Rillaboom typically is... But again, Rillaboom is just typically a starter Pokemon. But with it being 40 base stats under Tapu Bulu, you think it's the worst one out of the two, but I haven't even finished yet. Then you look at their type. Their weakness chart, and this is where we get to really getting into this debate, because Tapu Bulu suffers a quad weakness to poison. Suffers a weak. Now, while they both technically suffer like 4 of the 5 weaknesses that they each have, I guess. They do share. Tapu Bulu, on the other hand, has a harder time than Rillaboom in my opinion, because he has poison. Because the poison damage for him is more effective than Rillaboom. Rillaboom, if he was to get hit by a poison move, he might survive. But with Tapu Bulu, that usually means OHKO. That usually means like it's a one-hit KO instantaneously. I don't know where that word came from out of my vocabulary. I'm just gonna ignore that. But anyways, yeah, poison is huge, means huge damage. So then you go into their moveset. I'm just gonna take this from Sword and Shield just to kind of. Now we're gonna look into their movesets, and you're probably gonna see it now. I'm not really gonna talk about this, but here we go. The moveset is where I really just have a problem, right? So, the thing is, Tapu Bulu, if you look down, it has 2 fairy-type moves that it can get. But the thing is, Tapu Bulu can't really work with those moves. What I mean is, it doesn't get Play Rough. It doesn't get any good moves, really. It doesn't get Play Rough. It doesn't get any good fairy-type moves that are physical attacks. Because I just pointed out that it is a physical attack right here. 130 base physical attack. Yeah, that's needed. So, now that... And while you could argue you can run Tapu Bulu specially, you'd have to use, like, a choice spec. You would have to use, like, the choice specs for that, if in my opinion. But, yeah, definitely not a good idea. And, generally, I had trouble using this guy, but after a while, I kind of got used to using him, so it's not a big deal. But Rillaboom, on the other hand, is, how do I say this? Rillaboom is like if Incineroar is basically Teemu Incineroar, in the fact that he gets pretty much all of Incineroar's moves. Even his signature move, Drum Beating, is insanely good. Look at this. Look at this. He gets the move Fake Out. He gets Knockoff, and he even gets and he even gets one of the most biggest moves. Not Grass Pledge. It is Grassy Glide. Here we go. Grassy Glide completely I don't even know how to explain it, but Grassy Glide basically gives the move priority. Basically, I'll just see how they explain it, so it can be a little bit easier. See, here we go. High priority versus during grassy terrain. And while this has and what's even crazier is that with the grassy terrain up, it also gets a boost. So yeah, high priority during grassy terrain, so you can't really escape that. You also have Knockoff, like I just said. That's insanely good. And you'll also notice that this thing, that he also gets a lot of coverage moves, in my opinion. Like, you can run him any simple way, and I don't think anyone would really... And I think a lot of people would respect you no matter what. Like, this guy, you can run anything. On top of that, he gets so much coverage for his moves, by the way. Like, if you have problems with, like, a fire or poison type, bro, you could run, like, Stomping Tantrum. You could run, like, Stomping Tantrum or High Horsepower, Earthquake. Like, you really have no problem. And if you're, like, if you need to handle a Bug-type Pokemon, that's easy. Just run Acrobatics. Like, there's so much weight that this guy carries with his move pool that Tapu Bulu doesn't carry because he's just so, I don't know, mid, I guess. Like, there's a reason why nobody uses it. And that's what kind of bothers me, personally. Because I love Tapu Bulu. It's just that it's just that recently it's just not been the greatest Pokemon. So, I guess it's time to talk about what I think they need to do with this guy, rather than making him, like, look so bad. And I feel like the first thing they should do is really just emphasize that fairy typing. Like, they really need to enhance, you also will notice that it's probably the most underrated one out of the 4 Tapus in general. Tapu Koko, Tapu Lele, and Tapu Fini can use fairy type moves. Heck, Tapu Koko in himself can use Play Rough, I'm pretty sure. Which just makes it so sad. And while they each have their own terrain, Bulu's terrain is great, but I think it's primarily in his move pool that stinks. Like, nobody runs it. Like, it's hard to run Tapu Bulu. Heck, on my first run in Pokemon Showdown, I had trouble using this guy. Because, like, he's a really strong Pokemon. It's just that when it comes to everything he does, it's not either great or it's just pretty bad overall. So, my first moveset with the guy, and this was in singles, by the way, it was I'm pretty sure it was, here, let me show you. It was Wood Hammer, it was also Horn Leech, and then there was also, if I can find it, close combat, and then it was just Swords Dance. That was the entire moveset for me. Like, for me at first. Until I got a little until I had to ask someone to like recommend me a better moveset because I felt like it was just not great. I mean, Woodhammer and Hornleech does a lot, but I feel like I liked Hornleech better than Woodhammer because one, Woodhammer does recoil damage, and while I do appreciate the idea of, but yeah, recoil damage goes insane. So if you do 90 damage to the opponent, you're losing. So if you do a lot of damage to the opponent, it depends on how much damage you deal, basically. So if you do like 90, yeah. So like, look, if the attack, dang, I'm fumbling. Okay, if the attack does 90 HP damage to the opponent, the user will lose 30 HP. So if I was to do like, yeah, so if I was to hit like a Blastoise with that amount of damage, and it got knocked out, I'd be taking about 30 damage, which will leave me at 70. And the thing is, you could combine this with Hornleech to kind of give you a little bit of an advantage. However, I just didn't like the fact that I was taking recoil damage at the time because I just didn't feel like Tapu Bulu needed to take recoil. So I looked up to Swords Dance. So I looked up to this moveset here. So I looked up to Swords Dance, Hornleech, Close Combat, and Protect. Now, I know Protect is usually not a move you like to run in singles, but this would become important when I did doubles with this guy. Now, again, I never really ran Telepathy. I don't think anyone ever runs Telepathy in this game. And I understand that it's really good and all, but it doesn't prevent any real accidents. So, yeah, it's easy. I mean, it's easily it's pretty preventable if you just like gave them all a different ability, but I feel like that's just useless. In terms that people can understand, this guy just was never really the Pokemon that could capitalize on its fairy typing. And for that reason, I feel like he should be the only like Tapu out of all four of them to have his type changed. However, I know this isn't going to work well, especially with the people that probably might comment on the video, so I mean, I definitely don't think, I mean, but if I was to change his typing, I feel like his type change would go to, like, grass and fighting. Since he kind of does get a lot of fighting, since he kind of does look like, again, he is a bull, and bulls usually are known to fight. However, when it says here is that this Stola Pokemon is not very active, people's opinions differ on whether it's as docile as it seems, or if the reason it doesn't move much is because it can be chalked up to simple laziness. And again, but like when it comes to like, I feel like he's strong. It's just that he's lazy, you know, like, and that's fair. But I feel like his entire, how do I say it? He doesn't really, he's just not that guy. He's good. I can definitely say that. Definitely good. Better than Rillaboom in terms of stats, but not in terms of the weakness chart or even his move pool. I feel like in Champions, they should definitely give him a buff. I feel like in Champions, they should give him they should buff him by giving him Play Rough. Like, that would really enhance that would really help him out. Like, really, it would. Giving him Play Rough would be actually very, 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 very good. Especially with the fact that he's a physical fairy-type Pokemon, so not giving him Play Rough just seems so dumb to me. Just any physical fairy-type move. Not just Play Rough. Maybe other ones, too. But at least one that he can actually use to his advantage, you know? I mean, I like running Close Combat, but, like, Play Rough seems more optimal. But, I don't know. That's just, let me know what you guys think. Honestly, that's just a thought. Nothing, no harm doing. I'm just saying, like, they just really need to, I feel like they need to lock in on this. Like, they really just sold my boy real hard. So, again, let me